This is One Ogden. I'm John Miles. You probably know Jesse by his stage name Resonomics because he's been making music around town for over a decade, including his Ogden anthem, Junction City, I Love This Place. We got lunch at Typha Kitchen with our buddy Deanne Armas from the Ogdenite to talk about food and music and Ogden. Are you from here?
I am from here.
Where'd you grow up?
Ronclair.
Okay.
Yeah. Actually, I moved here when I was 2. I was born in California, but the railroad actually brought my family here, the SP, from back in the day.
And so was it Ben Lomond?
Yes, Ben Lomond Scots.
And were you always making music?
We started in like 1999, so I'm relatively older in the hip hop crowd. We started in 1998, but back then it was the infancy of the internet. So how we used to do it was on a karaoke machine. So my friend would make a beat, record it on the karaoke machine. He had to play the whole thing out too. There was no loops, none of that, right? And so he put it on a tape, then we put the other tape in. We press record. We'd do our parts. We'd have to pass the mic to the next guy, and then so we had to perform the whole song in its entirety, and it was all on tape back then. So that's how we started.
And so, like, what made you decide you wanted to write songs?
I was a big hip hop fan. So like the early to late 90s hip hop. I kind of as a child went through different genres like Guns N' Roses into like R&B, and then finally I kind of got into hip hop, and I just thought it was cool, man. I tried my hand at it, and I used to write to like Tupac songs that were already out, and then my style was exactly like his until eventually, after you get some writing under your belt, you kind of form your own style. But I studied the way he formulated his verses, how he'd segue in from one rhyme to the next line, and I just kind of, and then you start discovering your own path on doing that. So it's kind of just being a fan.
So it's like words and flow that drew you to it.
Yeah,
like
for
almost
sure.
Like poetry.
Yeah, most definitely, because I never wrote poems before that, really.
And like, did you play instruments or anything? Were you?
I played a little guitar, nothing crazy though. Like because I was big into rock music too, so I love the distortion guitar sound, and so that's kind of, yeah. So I'm I'm more of just a lyricist. Period. I don't make beats.
You never made beats?
No.
You always had like buddies that were.
Yeah. And then actually, when you kind of start running out of beats, I started seeking them out in Ogden, and there's some really good producers out here.
Really?
For sure. Yeah.
That's cool. And so then when did you release your first song?
Okay, so after the karaoke machine era, that was 99, about 2006, I ran into a buddy that we used to freestyle back at parties. He's like, hey, dude, I have a little studio. I'm like, okay. So I went, and that was my first digital song, if you will, and that was around 2006. And from there, it kind of took off. So just to add, in that year, the year of 2007, I started at Mojo's over here, the coffee shop, an all-ages joint. And within that first show to the end of that year, I was opening up for Bubba Sparks and Paul Wall up at Teasers and stuff. So it was a nice trajectory that I was on in 2007. Then I had a baby. Well, I didn't, and then I had to get a real job and all that, and I moved away, and so I just kind of dropped it all.
Oh.
Till I moved back.
I see. So when was that you moved back? How long were you gone?
So I was gone from 2008 to about 2011. So then I came back, kind of picked up where I left off till about 2015, 16. Took a good 4-year break, and then just like everybody else, the pandemic kind of brought all the artists back out, and they were sitting around like, well, I might as well make some music. So, yeah.
So, okay. So back at the 2006 time, were you like doing shows around town at all, like parties and stuff?
Yeah, so we were doing brewskis a ton. The Lighthouse, when it first moved there wasn't a stage or anything. It was a flat floor. Kamikazes a whole time, and then we did Teasers probably 5, 6, 7 times. Yeah, because we even did it when it wasn't, a bigger name coming through to open for them. Those were the best shows though, because the crowd was amazing. They were just like, yeah, and but yeah, we used to do the local shows there as well.
But so you've seen this like scene evolve quite a bit.
Most definitely. So when we started on that karaoke machine, shout out to Raj Genetics. They were in a group, him and his brother, called Ghost Gate, and that's where me and S.A. Lopez, who we started on the karaoke machine with, and then my friend Zeke, who made the beats, we sat there and watched them. Wow, this is how it's done, you know. And so from that to where we started to 2006. It started blowing up more and more. It became easier to do, computers and all that. So yeah, I have watched it. And now there's the younger generation out here, the 20-something-year-olds who are doing it. They're doing a great job. I love to watch them. I have some favorites. And
well, yeah, it seems like it kind of died around here for a while, but like it's kind of had a resurgence just in the last little, couple years.
Yeah, for sure. It has blown back up and started doing shows again. Every couple of weeks there's a hip hop show. Well, maybe not that much, but like quite often.
Yeah.
They're banging them out.
Yeah. And so then did you like take a break in albums too? Like you released?
Yeah, so I made my first song in like 2006, but I didn't release my first album until 2011. And that's right when I came back. I moved back, like I'm banging this album out. I got all this music. And then from then into about 2021 where I released so there was like a lull. I was still working on it, but there was quite a lull in releases. The album I released in 2021 was songs I had worked on the last 10. I was like, I need to get this out. I was like, I can work on these for my whole life, and no one's ever going to hear them. Uh-huh. Either they're going to like it or not, but they're going to hear it. But then I like kind of just didn't stop. So I released an album 2002 or 22. And actually that 1 year anniversary is going to be on the 29th, October 29th. This is 40. That's what I called it because I kind of my subject matter had changed from what I was talking about back then to what I'm the type of vibe I'm on these days.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Do you feel like having a kid and all that?
Yeah, most definitely. Because like I was a troubled youth. I saw the inside of Weber County a few times, so there was more of that type of a vibe on some of this stuff. But now it's like. I can't really rap about that stuff anymore because it's not that I don't say I'm super cool and like even like stretch the truth in rapping. Uh-huh. Everybody does.
Yeah.
But I kind of keep it more. I'm trying to pander to my age group, if you will.
It worked. Yeah. I was like, this is 40. I can relate.
Yeah.
This is for me.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So and then. Thanks to Deanne, man. She's like the homie, I'll tell you, man. Like, so when that album came out, I was thinking, like, how can I advertise for this? Like, I started hitting up, like, Instagram profiles that were super Ogden-y. Uh-huh. And I was like, with the Ogdenite, man. I was like, this account does like a lot of articles and things around town. So I messaged that account, and she's like, I was like, here, check out this song. It's called Junction City. I wrote it about Ogden.
Yeah.
And she listened to it. She's like, oh my God, I love it. And so that's how it was born. Well,
sure. I love the song. I really love the song.
Yeah.
And the whole album. I love that it's autobiographical, and I could relate to after having kids and taking a pause, coming back, reemerging with your passion.
Mm-hmm. So what inspired the Ogden song? What made you think you wanted to write an anthem?
Ogden songs have been done in the past, right?
Well, yeah, and you've even done some.
Yeah, like...
kind of.
The Ogden song I did in the past was super dark. And I remember... So, back in 2006, there was this, like, cable access show called Crowd Surfing with Vince and Wag. R.I.P. to my man Wag. But anyway, they're like, hey, we need a theme song. So, I had this super inappropriate song that I took the beat and just changed it for their it was on Channel 30 on KOOG, but it was something else at that time. But right. Anyway, I was like, hey, check out this Ogden song, like, side note. And they're like, well, Ogden's not really that bad. I'm like, oh, yeah, So anyway, when I made this one, I wanted to make it, I didn't want any swearing in it. I wanted to make it positive completely. Shots out to all the, people that are special to me, business-wise and things. And touch on all the staples of Ogden. I wanted to make it to where nobody could really make another one without copying me. Yeah. So it was kind of a calculated move on that.
Well, and it's just full of shout outs. Like it's almost all just stuff you love.
Oh yeah.
It's good. I thought that was a good choice.
For sure. Yeah. So And then the Skeleton Man, he's putting it on his podcast for the intro. Here's a little announcement. Yeah, it's gonna be the intro and outro music for the Skeleton Man.
I didn't know the Skeleton Man had a podcast.
Yeah. Well,
are we talking about the guy who does the skeleton?
Yeah,
Ron Pippin.
Yeah, my man Ron.
Is he talking about skeletons?
No. Actually, it's about Ogden history and like crazy facts. And I can't remember. I don't think he's decided on a name yet. But yeah, it's like he's interviewing people that know a lot about Ogden, so it's going to be really interesting when he finally drops it.
Do you guys know that there's that podcast about Ogden history? It's like Ogden law enforcement history.
Yeah, it's Junction City Justice.
Yeah, I think that's
podcast.
It. But do you know who does that?
Yes, but the name, I can't recall the name right now. But I have been in touch with them because I selected it for a Ogdenite pick. 1 month. They had a really cool episode about
London.
Yes, that episode was. It's really good. So I reached out to them to find out who they were. And
I've always meant to kind of.
I haven't been able to meet them yet, but
so they're talking about the law enforcement history, like because remember there was the wasn't there a police officer like back in like the early 1920s or something that was murdered or some type of thing or
there's like a few things like that, and he'll do that. He'll do like 1880s stories, I don't know.
Crazy history.
Oh yeah,
which I did mention in that Ogden song, but the history of this place,
Crazy history.
It was such a hub for the railroad back then.
I got this book that talks about just train robberies all over, and like that guy got arrested and nobody ever found the treasure,
Right,
stuff's
it's buried
all over
somewhere.
Yeah, I want to go treasure hunting.
Oh, that would be fun.
Yeah, and then this street is so historic, and then the place we're at, the Taifa Kitchen. In 2003, when I was, so little backstory, I was kind of raised with the family that owns this place. Like they used to babysit me and stuff, but we had to go under this building to do the plumbing, and you could tell that it's super kind of spacious down there, but you could tell they like built up gravel where you could kind of get in between the buildings. So the tunnel theory under here, it's not conclusive evidence, if you will, but it's definitely circumstantial.
Yeah. You're at least tunnel adjacent. I think we should go down in this basement is what I'm saying.
Well, it's a trap door. I don't know. You need a ladder. There's no stairs. It's very, very, very inaccessible. But
we should have had lunch down there.
Yeah, we should.
Right.
For Halloween with all the spiders.
Yeah. Have you eaten here before, John?
I actually haven't, but I've heard so many good things about it. People who know Fuss say this is the place to go.
You won't be disappointed.
And you say like it's been a few different businesses?
Yeah, so the same family has owned it, but they tried their hand at different like cuisine. So it started as a straight sushi bar. And then it became like a sushi, that side was sushi. This side was like a teppanyaki type deal with the wood booths.
That's what I remember.
Yeah. And then they ripped them out, and then this side became like a Hawaiian chicken joint for a minute, but it was all still connected. And then I think they still owned it, but they let someone take it over for a few years, and then they took it back over, and now it's the Taifa Kitchen.
Well, yeah, because it's always been kind of low key, and I don't know if it's just because of the street or whatever, but it's like they're not real. It's kind of easy to just walk right by.
Right. Yeah.
They've never been very loud. They don't do a lot of promotion.
Flashy. Yeah.
It's kind of like a secret.
Right.
It's a local secret.
A best kept
Yeah.
secret.
They just rely on the quality of the food
and loyal customers and things like that. Yeah.
And now they have late night chicken Friday and Saturday nights. I think 10
to 2.
10 to
Really?
Yeah.
It's that vibe where you come in after the bar.
Well,
and
I
there's a
mean,
bunch
it
of
was
people
out on the
We used to starve after the bars closed. There was no food on 25th Street. Well, now there's chicken.
Wow.
Yeah. And there's
the hot dog guy.
I didn't know about this. That's cool.
Yeah. Oh man, sauteed
Jorge.
onion.
Oh yeah, the sausages and peppers.
Hot dogs.
Bacon wrapped hot dogs
That's right.
Man,
with onions and jalapenos.
Oh man,
I need to get it in.
that's good. That's what the street has needed.
Yeah.
Totally. I don't know why it was never there. I don't know if they didn't allow it before.
Yeah. Was it too big of a pain in the ass with the city or something?
Yeah, I'm wondering if something changed to allow it.
Well, yeah.
Or
So
maybe it didn't.
Or it didn't. Or edit this out.
are they already doing that? The chicken out there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A couple months.
That's
Yeah, the very first night they were out there, I was leaving Lighthouse and I said, "What is this?" Oh my God. And I just did a video and put it up on the pages, and it like blew up.
Nice.
Everyone's so happy to have late night food on the street.
I hit it on the late night after the Resonomics and essay show at the Lighthouse.
Mm-hmm.
We came down here and tore it apart.
Did you?
Yeah, for sure.
I don't eat chicken, so I just get a big bowl of rice with all the cabbage and that sauce.
Oh yeah.
The sauce, I should ask April what's in it.
Yeah. I don't know if she's
It's a
gonna give you
sweet
that.
sauce
It's made with love.
with homegrown peppers and basil.
Yeah, that's the thing. They grow all their additives here. Pumpkin for that pumpkin spice. Thai chilies, their basil, all that.
Yeah, she said they grow the pumpkins in their yard.
Yeah, well, it's kind of a farm.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, they can't grow all this stuff, though, right?
They got room.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
All right.
Totally.
What else you got, John?
Well, so I could ask you about the music for a while. Like, you've been doing it with the same guys kind of all along?
So the S.A. Lopez, my partner in all this, he always did it. He actually makes awesome beats, but he was always doing it and messing around with it. But I had to like nudge him. So when I got back into this around 2020, 2021, I was like, okay, I need a team here. So I started nudging him like, hey, get on this song. And then we started banging them out. And finally, probably like a year ago, he released his first track that you could ever find. So now he's all about it. He's like, he's sending me stuff and just like, yo, get on this. Let's do this. Like, so yeah, Smash Boogie and S.A. Lopez, that is basically my team. We're actually for next year. So everything I'm releasing now, I've had done for 8 months to a year. So everything I'm working on now is coming out next year. So we actually got together kind of as a group, doing a group project for an album next year. Amongst I'm doing another solo, but it can't really be called a solo album because I'm trying to work with every single artist that'll have me.
Yeah.
And so it's actually going to be, my album was going to be called Feature Presentation. So it's going to be all features.
That's cool.
So I have at least 2 confirmed albums to come out next year, because I've been doing, like, since that last album, I've been doing singles. But they say your hometown shouldn't be your target audience, but it kind of is mine. Like, I don't know what I'm trying to do here. Like, I'm not gonna go sell out the Delta Center at some point.
Right.
So I'm trying to put the Junction City song on the mayor's desk. Like, listen to this, dude.
Yeah.
Put it on your commercial, man.
Yeah.
Like, there's no swear words. It talks about all the stuff you like. So I'm kind of, my hometown kind of is my
I love that.
target audience, you know. So I'm just trying to be known on this street. I don't know but like, then again, like, so those singles, like, I've had they say do the singles every 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Keep it going. And that's what I tried doing. And they get a little bit playlisted here and there on Spotify. But when I dropped that album, so many of those songs did way better than the singles when it comes to, like, other than hometown audiences. There were people in Queensbridge, New York, that had one of them on repeat for like a week. I was
Really?
like, wow, that's crazy. Yeah. So I'm kind of going to get back into albums. I like the whole body of work thing, as opposed to like, listen to this song a few times. Cool. What's, like, I don't know.
Where do you record?
I have a studio in my house that I built. It was going to be a walk-up bar, but I was like, I don't need that much access.
Could be a bar studio.
I don't need to wake up. Well, there is a bar you can sit at, but it was going to have kegs. Yeah.
Can I come sit at the bar while you record?
You
Yeah,
definitely
that
can.
good.
Yeah, so I ended up turning it into a studio instead of a bar. And I had a closet for my, like, food storage, because I'm a prepper.
Really?
Oh yeah. You wouldn't think that, would you?
I would not think that.
Yeah, but I turned it into the vocal booth instead. So yeah.
You should do a song about food prep.
Yeah, I definitely should. Yeah, no, I kind of get off the conspiracy theory. You want to reach back a little bit on some albums, you can get into some of that.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
Gonna go do a deep dive.
Yeah.
That'll make you O-Town famous.
But
you
yeah,
already
no,
are.
that's what I'm trying to be.
You are.
I'm trying to have someone listen to something and be like, wow, that was a really good line.
Well, and I really disagree with that philosophy that you don't want to market
Same.
to your hometown.
Why
Yeah.
not?
And maybe it's because, maybe I think that this hometown is special, but I think there's a lot of room for that. Like,
Yeah, for sure. So I pride my little studio as, like, one of the best sounding vocal, because, like, it's not really for making, you can add the making beats aspect to it. It's all ready to go, but I just vocals. I made sure my booth was really good sounding and stuff.
But like that's what I was kind of like making music as long as you have. There's that whole kind of machine of it. There's like the beats, the producing at the end. So do you end up doing a lot of that or?
So I have a guy who lives in South Carolina that I met on a 311 cruise. So I was super into I've been to a lot of 311 stuff. Anyway, like Tom Green was on there and Doug Benson, some comedians. They're all just smoking weed everywhere, man. Anyway, we met each other and we're, oh, you rap? Oh yeah, I rap. Oh yeah, and so like it didn't happen right away, but a couple years later we ended up making some music together, which is actually, we have a whole album that's a possible third album for next year, but we're not like rushing. We've been working on it for 2 years already, so it's not, it'll come out naturally. And then he masters, produces, all that stuff. So he's part of my other team, but he's not in my hometown. So with SA and Smash, there's Busy B. Shout out to Busy B, my man. He does all my production, everything. So I'm kind of sourcing out to the other side of the United States, but like we got a good thing going. So
that's cool.
I just simply record and send that bad boy out.
Yeah. Man, I was talking to some coworkers and I realized that 311 is the band I've seen the most in concert, like probably 20 times.
Amazing live show.
Yeah, and they come through here like it's ritual, Everybody I know was going to them.
Can I tell you that when I perform, a lot of the things that I do, you might see some similarities. So I've been, but just like you've seen them a ton, I've seen them a ton, and I've watched and I've studied, and I've over the years seen how they evolved on everything. And so I have taken a lot of aspects of their performance. Yeah, and so my man S.A., back in high school when we got into 311, we started calling him S.A. Actually, in the talent show, we did Down. I did Nick Hexum part. He did S.A.'s part. So it stuck. So when he went to 311 Day with me last year, and I was already in with like crew from all across America, I had to explain to them why we call him S.A. Why are you calling him S.A.? Like, okay, well, yeah, we didn't think that one day we'd have to explain why he's got the same name as S.A. Martinez does.
Right.
So yeah, it was a pretty interesting situation. But yeah, so studying the live show, because that's kind of how artists are gonna make their money now. Unless you're Drake, you can buy a car every day with your Spotify streams. But ones that not so much. It's the live show. It's the merch. That's where that's heading.
Well, and that kind of feels like the direction that your music is heading to. It's like a lot more like dancey and like fun focused.
Yeah. So I'm heading that direction too for the live show. I've been at the Lighthouse a couple times in the last year. We banged out some pretty great shows there, and so I do still make the like trip out and get stoned, and don't get stoned and drive, but drive and get stoned, drive around, listen to this music type stuff. But I do want to focus more on what would be a super hype vibe for a live show type song, like. Yeah.
And I can tell because I mean the Ogden song. You've only got the live version, right?
No, I've been trying to do some different stuff. So I set out some live versions. I did some techno songs. I did some EDM music with some dudes from Chicago. I did a super poppy song just recently, and then I got this kind of love-ish song coming out. But I'm gonna get right back into that hip hop gangster shit right at the end of this year. But all that being said, there is a original version of the Ogden song.
I see. I was just gonna say, because that, from the sound of that, you could tell it's like your shows are more dancey
and
vibe.
Shouts out to Busy B for making it sound even better.
Yeah, it sounds good. And I love that it was like, it's live from the Lighthouse, right? I like that.
Yeah, I took the cue from like Nirvana's Unplugged and live from the muddy banks of wherever it was, one of Kurt Cobain's last shows. So I kind of, everything, they say good artists steal, or there's a saying like great artists are original, or good artists are original, great artists steal. I don't know. So anyway, I take a lot of cues from a lot of different sources on things. There's a video. I produced a video. Like I had 4 camera angles, 5 microphones across the room, live feed. Shout out to Patty, helped me make that possible at the Lighthouse. So there is an actual legit music video, Junction City live at the Lighthouse.
Cool. Yeah, because nobody's going to respect that unique sound
that we've got here
Right.
without promoting it like
Yeah.
that.
So we banged it out, and I definitely
Awesome.
it was a great turn. Both shows have been a great turnout. So I'm not trying to like do it every weekend because I'm not trying to saturate myself.
Yeah.
And be like, oh, he's coming again. Oh, cool. Yeah. Like,
When is your next show? Do you have one?
I
on the books?
haven't got locked in a date yet, but I always do them 6 months out, so I don't have trouble getting a good date. Yeah.
Well, and yeah, like, so is it different doing shows now? Is there anything different about it, like
Than it used to be?
Yeah, than it used to be.
I'm a little more responsible. I've made some mistakes back in the day. I've got up there shit-faced.
Right.
And so now I don't do that. I actually bust out some cardio for like the 2 weeks prior. I try to make it the best possible display I can. Like I said, I've been studying live shows for a while, so I try to introduce other aspects. I bring in Cooper LaValle, my man. I brought him in both times to play guitar. The first time was just a little part. The second time I gave him a whole 5-minute solo.
That's cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so we're trying to make it a little more than just like, here's the next guy. Yeah, rapping, do, cool, you know, whatever. Oh, it's a good song. People are into it. And then just over and over and over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Like we try to switch it up differently, kind of keep the attention, if you will.
Yeah, that's cool.
So advice to you younger artists out there. I know some of you are already taking cues on that.
And what about, I mean, even just streaming music has had to have changed a lot. Like, is it, you got to just do all that Googling about release strategies and shit now?
I have kind of a bougie distributor. I got on with a distributor called Symphonic a few years back in like 2021. So it's kind of not as exclusive as it was back then. You can pretty much get on there, but they have marketing drivers for playlisting. So instead of submitting it to Spotify itself, I actually submit it to them, and then they pitch it. And then having an advertising budget also helps, which was what brought me to Deanne. Like, so like she's my go-to gal when it comes to advertising. But like, I'm not putting commercials on ESPN. I'm banging it out in my hometown.
Yeah.
With
I
the
appreciate
Ogden night. Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. I'll tell you, OFAM and the Ogden night, the two of my favorites. OFAM's a nonprofit, isn't it?
Never heard of OFAM.
No. Ogden Friends of Acoustic Music.
Oh, OFAM.
Oh
OFAM.
yeah.
Oh, I love OFAM.
Yeah.
They're
OFAM. They make a cool ass festival.
great. Ogden Friends of Acoustic Music.
So you've got working on 3 albums now?
Yeah, for next year. So
Like all different vibes, kind of?
yeah, so I took a little break since that last September 23rd Lighthouse show. I've kind of just like 6 weeks. I haven't been doing anything. But yeah, but I have been working on the feature presentation album, and then there's the group effort with me, Smash, and Essay. We haven't came up with a name, but we already have like 3 songs for that. And then there's the about 10-song album I'm doing with my producer in South Carolina, which the vibe of that, it's more dancey. It's really like high energy. But how we're gonna set that up is we're gonna go in kind of a chronological order with the songs. And it's going to start out with like voicemail recordings, like, hey man, it was nice to meet you, man. You know, and then bam, bam, bam. It's going to kind of be a story, if you will. So it's going to go along those lines. And then S.A. Lopez is going to produce that whole group album with the 3 of us, all on his beats. And then my feature presentation album, just along with the lyricists and everything, it's also going to be a bunch of producers too from around here. So that's my next venture. Actually, I'm the official Junction City music video. I've shot a bunch of scenes for that already, so that'll come out next year too. Like the not the live one, but the highly produced.
Nice.
Yeah, and so because I kind of do video as well.
And I mean, you just did a single like a month ago or something, right?
Yeah, In the Moment. That's my poppy.
I love that song.
That's my
It's a good
poppy.
song.
I love it.
That's me trying to pander to everyone else in America right there. Let's see if this works, you know.
And is that so? That's kind of the stuff with the producer. Is it that?
So that was produced actually by Riley Jackson.
Oh.
He's from around here. That was his beat and his production. When you want to hire a producer, if you want a certain sound, and we got that sound with it. So so I wrote most of the lyrics, but he wrote like the cadences and the melodies, how I delivered it and stuff like that. So, which I've never done before. That was a whole new process, really.
Yeah.
It was cool. It was a learning experience.
He's like directing your rapping almost.
Right. Yeah. And like, cause like I do a little more singing.
Yeah.
I'm not really I don't sing much, but he's like, try singing. And I'm like singing. He's like, oh, let's change the key of this beat. I'm like, yeah, that's my key right there, man. Yeah.
Do you think you'll ever perform that one live?
Oh yeah, I've done it twice now, 3 times.
I love the three of you and SA and Smash.
Yeah,
Boogie.
the energy.
Yeah, the three of you guys together. That's a good. I saw you at Funk and Dive.
Yeah, and we did so at Funk and Dive. Which, shouts out to DJ Juggy. I believe he has another Funk and Dive holiday party coming up, so watch out for that we may or may not be performing at in December.
Okay.
Yeah, so we will definitely be doing the trio version.
But that's still, you just call that Resonomics still?
No, that's, I think SA been kicking around the name 801 Sauce. I don't know if that's an album name or a song name or a group name, but instead we're just kicking out music, like, and it's so easy to do a group album when you're only responsible for a verse and maybe a chorus.
Yeah,
you bam bam bam. But if you have to do a whole concept of a song start to end and make it like connect and not just be all over the place, the process is so much smoother.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.